Joined by U.S. Senator Tom Cotton. Good morning, sir. How are you today?
Hey, Kevin. Good morning.
Thank you for being here. The Russia investigation focusing at the moment on Jared Kushner. Your thoughts on what's happening with this?
Kevin, I'm on the Senate Intelligence Committee, and we've been reviewing this matter for months now. I'm glad that Mr. Kushner has said that he's happy to come speak to us and turn over documents that we might request. So he's been fully cooperative, and I don't want to speculate about second and third-hand sources making claims in the newspaper, particularly when there's as yet no evidence of any kind of collusion or wrongdoing.
Senator, with this, I mean, what do you feel like the next level of the investigation is after this point?
The Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, has appointed a special counsel, Bob Mueller, and Bob Mueller is widely respected in Washington. And as President Trump said to his own team after that appointment, he will benefit from a thorough, fair, and prompt investigation to clear the air in all this and let him focus on the agenda. So that's what I hope Mr. Mueller does, and it's certainly what we've been doing on the Intelligence Committee.
Senator Tom Cotton, Arlington Cemetery running out of space. You wrote an op-ed about this. What is the problem here?
So Arlington is a national jewel. It's one of the highlights for most Arkansans when they visit Washington, D.C., but it's also a working cemetery. If you're there on a weekday, there's a good chance that you will encounter the Old Guard, the unit with which I serve that performs the funerals in the cemetery. But unfortunately, they're running out of space. And if we don't act soon to expand Arlington or to use additional techniques so we can add more sites inside the existing boundaries, every veteran from the Gulf War and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan will be ineligible for burial there. Even if they won the Medal of Honor, there'll simply be no room. I've spoken about this with Donald Trump, and he strongly agrees that we need to take whatever actions are necessary to preserve Arlington National Cemetery as a final place of repose for our nation's heroes.
How would this work? I mean, Arlington's rather landlocked, isn't it? I mean, how would you get more space there?
There's a few techniques, Kevin. One is trying to reclaim some of the land inside the cemetery. It can be very hilly, but through various techniques, landscapers and architects can add space within an existing boundary. A second would be what's known as the Southern Expansion project. South of Arlington, you could open up the fence and close off one small side road and add 40 to 60,000 more sites around the Air Force Memorial. Third would be building more columbaria inside of the cemetery, places where you have niches that can take the urns of cremated remains. Those are just three examples that I think the cemetery is looking into and that Congress ought to support. And then finally, there's some more drastic steps. There are military bases like Fort Myer, where I served with the Old Guard, and Henderson Hall, a Marine base on the edge, that I believe have space that we should consider annexing into the cemetery itself, space that currently is not occupied within those bases. But I think that we need to take whatever steps are necessary to ensure that Arlington remains open to this generation of veterans.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, I don't think I can describe the feeling you get when you're at Arlington Cemetery. It goes beyond words and how it stirs your soul to be there and to see the headstones that just go beyond the horizon. It's I don't want to say amazing. That's not the right word for it. But again, there's no words for the feeling there. Senator Cotton, effort to expand the boundary around Central High School. What's the situation here, and what's the goal with this?
So, Kevin, we're approaching the 60th anniversary of the integration of Central High School. In a lot of the pictures of those days, there are some residential homes right across the street. Those homes still exist today, but they're not part of the National Historic Site. So I've introduced legislation along with French Hill and John Lewis, the civil rights legend from Georgia, that would allow the National Park Service to work with the homeowners in Little Rock to incorporate those 7 homes into the historic site. It wouldn't cost taxpayers any money. It wouldn't cost those homeowners the rights to their homes. They support it, as does the city and the local preservation authorities. It would make sure that the fronts of those homes are preserved, though, for all Arkansans, all Americans to see whenever they go to Little Rock Central to learn the story of what happened there. And I hope that we can get that bill passed by September in time for the 60th anniversary.
Senator Tom Cotton, thank you for your time this morning.
Thanks, Kevin.
Have a good day. 7:40.